That's it, a whole month of World Cup football is done. We know the winner of the competition. Finally, Messi got his hand on the World Cup trophy. And I'm not gonna lie, this was meant to happen. I am super happy for Messi. This was the only trophy he needed to have the perfect career. I mean, he already had the perfect career, but this was the only trophy missing. And to win it in that fashion, absolutely unbelievable. 2 goals in the final. And what a game that was. We will talk about that very soon, but first I will do a quick intro, because in this video I will talk about the best and the worst of the Qatar 2022 World Cup. So I'm going to be talking about the best game, the best player, the most disappointing player, the most disappointing match, the best goal, the most disappointing team, the surprise player, all of that good stuff. But before we do all of that, let's talk about the final. What an unbelievable game. In my life, I cannot remember a final crazier than this one. Argentina were absolutely unbelievable the first 80 minutes, especially the first 60 minutes. I literally didn't believe what I was seeing. The team worked perfectly, and especially the attack of Argentina was absolutely insane. Julian Alvarez was doing so much work. Messi was playing great. McAllister also did very well, but for me, the first 60 minutes, the standout player was Angel Di Maria. The first 60 minutes of the game, this guy by far was the best player on the entire pitch. And to think about the fact that Messi and Mbappe were also on that pitch, but Angel Di Maria was running the show was absolutely insane. He scored an amazing goal. It looked like it was gonna be the winner, but then Kylian Mbappe happened in 1 minute and 37 seconds, scoring twice to take the game to extra time. Again, 2 more goals in extra time. I thought that the 3-2 Messi's goal was gonna be the winner, until again Kylian Mbappe scored his hat-trick. The game went to penalties, and then finally Argentina got their win by a goal from Montiel that sealed the victory, so that finally Messi could lay his hands on the World Cup trophy. And since we're in a good mood, we're talking about positive stuff, let's talk about the best player of the entire tournament. And in my opinion, we can only talk about 2 players here, and maybe one that should also be in contention. A player that surprised me a lot and was arguably one of the better defenders at this tournament was Josko Guardiola. But let's be real, he actually doesn't deserve to be in this debate, because the 2 best players of the tournament were Kylian Mbappe and Lionel Messi. And this became apparent once again in the final. Kylian Mbappe became only the 2nd player to score a hat-trick in the final, while Messi also scored 2 goals for Argentina. And the top goal scorers chart at this World Cup showed that these 2 were miles better than the other players at this tournament. In 3rd place, we have Giroud and Julian Alvarez with 4 goals each. Lionel Messi is in 2nd with 7 goals, while Kylian Mbappe finished top scorer with 8 goals. Absolutely ridiculous. And while Kylian Mbappe was absolutely insane, my pick still goes to Lionel Messi, because obviously he won the tournament, but he was so influential for his team. The stats show that this World Cup, Messi really took Argentina by his hand, because in all of the World Cups he was involved in the most goals in this one. And after that game against Australia, Messi really became vintage Messi again, and something just clicked. He was absolutely insane, fully deserved to be the best player of the tournament. He had 10 goal involvements in just 7 games, and all around I think that Messi was just the best player at this tournament. So again, well deserved that Messi won the trophy in the end as well. So now we talked about the best player. I think it's a little bit strange to talk about the worst player, because I really don't know how to determine who is the worst player, but the biggest flop is definitely something I can talk about. So a player that was expected to do pretty well, but in reality absolutely didn't do much. And again, there are a few players that immediately come to mind. The first one is Lautaro Martinez. The other player that immediately comes to mind, of course, is Cristiano Ronaldo. We just talked about Messi and how great he was during this tournament. He obviously won the trophy, and now we're going to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, who definitely wasn't that great. At one point even lost his starting spot for the national team, while his country already went out in the round of 16. For weeks and months everybody talked about that this was going to be the last World Cup of both Messi and Ronaldo, and to see Messi as motivated as he was during the tournament shows that it indeed is possible to take your team to a different level if you have the motivation. But unfortunately this didn't work out for Cristiano. However, Ronaldo at least scored at the tournament. He scored a penalty against Ghana. That was pretty much it. He tried to claim a goal that Bruno Fernandes actually scored. He might have touched it with the tip of his hair, but definitely not enough to give the goal to Ronaldo. He then showed a bad attitude after getting subbed off, which definitely annoyed his coach Fernando Santos, so he put him on the bench the next game. And then again the same happened against Morocco. And that 1-0 loss against Morocco was the end of Cristiano Ronaldo's World Cup career. A tournament that he will not look back on with very fond memories, because unfortunately he couldn't make it happen during this tournament. And I mean, I don't hate Ronaldo, far from it actually. I mean, I've been a Ronaldo and Messi fan for 15 plus years. I think that both are an absolute asset to the sport, but I always known that Messi was the better player, because Messi is just superhuman, but Ronaldo also is one of the best to ever do it. it. So I don't want to slander him, but unfortunately, in terms of expectations and what he actually delivered during the tournament, I'm afraid that we can only call him the biggest flop of the World Cup. Now let's talk about the best goal of the entire tournament, and we've seen a few. Marcus Rashford's goal against Wales, his free kick, was a pretty nice goal. The only goal that South Korea scored against Brazil was also pretty nice. Mbappe of course scored a beautiful goal against Poland, and Brazil had two unbelievable goals. Neymar's goal against Croatia was beautiful, but the last goal that we're going to talk about is also the winner if you ask me. It's a goal that happened already at the beginning of this tournament, but Richarlison's volley, or bicycle kick, however you want to call it, against Serbia was the best goal of the entire tournament. The way he hit it, absolutely insane technique, a beautiful goal. That was definitely his night. I think he scored twice during that game, and that was when everything was still looking great for Brazil, but soon after things didn't really go that well. That immediately puts us to our next segment, the most disappointing team. Brazil definitely is in contention. They were first in the FIFA World Rankings, didn't even make it to the semi-finals, went out in the quarterfinals to Croatia, so they're definitely in contention. And then of course we have the two obvious ones, Germany and Belgium. Belgium arrived as the second highest rated country in the FIFA World Rankings. It was the last opportunity of the golden generation to do something to actually show that they are the golden generation, finally win a trophy. But as we all know, they went out in the group stages. And the same happened for Germany. On paper they were in a pretty easy group with Spain, of course, the standout name, but Japan and Costa Rica were the other teams, so many people definitely expected Germany to make it at least out of the group. But as we all know, that didn't happen. They lost against Japan, drew against Spain, and won against Costa Rica. But because Japan's win on the last match day against Spain, it didn't really matter for Germany anymore because they were already out of the competition after only 3 games. But for Germany, expectations were alright, definitely not that bad to make them already go out of the group stage. But after their terrible tournament in 2018, many people didn't really expect a lot from Germany. For Belgium, the 2018 tournament was much better as they finished in 3rd place, but still, most people already knew that this Belgium team was finished. But everybody was hyping up Brazil, saying that they would make it to the final at least. And for them to go out in the quarterfinals already, I think is the biggest disappointment. So for sure, they are my most disappointing team. Now it's time to talk about the best match, and we've seen a few good games. We also saw a lot of terrible games with two sides that were only defending, nothing happening in those games. More on that later, because first we're going to focus on the best match. I'm pretty sure that we all remember the game Argentina versus the Netherlands. A very similar story to the game we saw in the final. Argentina were 2-0 up against the Netherlands because of a goal from Molina and Lionel Messi, but then the Netherlands put their cheat code in, and I don't know, but this immediately makes me laugh again, because our cheat code was Burnley flop Wout Weghorst. And the most annoying thing about it was that it actually worked. Weghorst scored a header before converting a beautiful free kick routine in the last minute to take the game to extra time, where the two teams didn't score, but in the end on penalties Argentina of course made it to the semi-finals. An unbelievable game, nobody expected that to happen, but still that wasn't the best game we've seen during this tournament, because probably in the last 30 minutes you guys thought, why is he talking about this game? This guy must have lost his mind and didn't watch the final. And of course I did watch the final, and of course the final is going to be my pick for best game during the 2022 World Cup. Have you ever seen a more insane game like this one? Again, Argentina were 2-0 up in the 80th minute. Then in less than 2 minutes, Mbappe scored twice. Messi and Mbappe scored in extra time until the game was decided on penalties. We already talked about this game at the beginning of this video. I cannot do it again. I would love to, but it's gonna be a little bit too much. But without a doubt, the best final I've ever seen in any competition. So for sure, I would be stupid not to name this game as the best game of the entire tournament. Now it's time to move on to the worst game, and I'm not gonna make this a very long segment, because of course, who wants to talk about the worst game at the tournament? My pick is probably going to be Mexico versus Poland, a game that finished in a 0-0 draw. We only saw 6 shots on goal during the entire game. I literally don't remember a single thing that was actually exciting about that game. And of course, I have a tendency to remember good games more than bad games, but this game was definitely not one that I will remember for a long time. In fact, I've already forgotten about it completely, which definitely isn't a good sign, so definitely the worst game I've seen at this tournament. And just to end the video, let's talk about a few positive things. Let's leave the negative stuff in the past, because in the end we saw a great tournament. So in my opinion, it's just better to focus on the positive things. So I want to talk about 2 more things. First, I want to talk about the revelation of the tournament. I want to talk about the revelation as a team and the revelation as a player. So let's start off with the players. And of course, we've seen a few great players that stood up during this tournament. Cody Gakpo was great for the Netherlands, announcing himself to the world. Enzo Fernandez and Julian Alvarez were truly amazing for Argentina. Argentina. Tchouaméni showed that he's a baller for France. Josko Guardiola, if you ask me, was the best defender at this tournament. And for Morocco, midfielder Unai is definitely going to make a big transfer after his ridiculous tournament with Morocco. But my pick will go out to Josko Guardiola. I've rarely seen a defender this good at a World Cup. And I keep repeating myself on this channel, this guy is only 20 years old. He was truly ridiculous for Croatia. Definitely a factor to why they made it all the way to the semi-finals. And he didn't do anything wrong during this tournament. Okay, at one point Messi made a fool of him a little bit with that assist he gave to Julian Alvarez. But that was not because Guardiola was bad, but more because of Messi's brilliance. So if you ask me, this was the most surprising player of the entire tournament. And the most surprising team, of course, has to be Morocco. The first African nation to make it to the semi-finals ever at a World Cup. Unfortunately, they lost out on third place because Croatia won the game. But Morocco can be really proud of themselves, making it all the way to the semi-finals while nobody expected them to even make it out of the group stage. Okay, I'm pretty sure that some people expected that, but they were in a pretty tough group. With Belgium and Croatia, most people had them two going out to the round of 16. But Morocco showed that they have some unbelievable talents, a great team spirit, and the teams they have faced and actually knocked out of the competition. Belgium, Spain, Portugal, those are definitely not nations that you just win against. Absolutely unbelievable, a great tournament. They can be proud of themselves. So for sure, they were the biggest surprise for me during the tournament. I'm pretty sure the Morocco fans will remember this tournament for a long time. And the same goes for me, I will remember this World Cup for a long time. Even though my home country, the Netherlands, weren't that great. We made it to the quarterfinals. Again, I think that was the maximum for us. But honestly, I couldn't have been happier with Messi actually winning the trophy. I said it numerous times on this channel before. I actually predicted Argentina to win the tournament. And I'm not gonna say that I'm a prediction genius, because of course I'm not. We've seen that. It was a lot of wishful thinking. I really hoped that Messi would step up once again and take the only trophy that he still needed in his trophy cabinet. And I'm really happy, honestly, that he did. So for me, that was the perfect ending to a great World Cup. In terms of the footballing aspect, of course. So guys, let me know in the comments down below. Did you enjoy this World Cup? If not, let me know why you didn't enjoy it. And definitely feel free to talk to me about the World Cup final. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. So as always, like the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel, click my videos on the end screen right now, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.